Alright, we've been through a bit. Is that... Oh, right, it's just the Chinese checkers looking thing. I saw the little nubs from the corner of my eye, and I'm like, are they playing Sorry over here? Or Boggle or whatever? It would be kind of funny if the captain's, yeah, this like captain's crew area, and it's like, here's my magic stealth device, here's my view of the galaxy, here's my game for 3-year-olds. It's like, they're just playing Sorry. Alright, well, time to figure out how one actually gets to a different planet in this game. Probably by talking to the lady. Gladys. Neat. Alright. That's different. We have like a physical model. But like almost a redundant physical model because all of the components of it are holographic anyway. So like Cilia, Tartarus, and so on, they're all holograms. Which is kind of weird considering that there's a physical thing for them. Like... You would almost think that maybe the holograms are holograms so that you could like then go to a different solar system and have different things pop up on the holograms, but like different solar systems have different numbers of planets orbiting at different distances, so like you can't use the same physical series of rings for a different solar system really. But there's also like mysteriously one planet right here on the thing that just isn't included. Like there's one thing missing. Which is interesting also because like these other places are just locked. Like you can't go there, but like it's still there. Are you telling me I could go to Monarch right now in Cilia? It kind of doesn't look like I'm being stopped from going there. That's curious. But yeah, maybe that's where the game ends or something. I don't know. Hephaestus. Ah, you can click on Scylla. Monarch. Dangerous. Olympus. Can't click there. Okay. A lot of them are grayed out. Maybe because those just aren't places that they developed as places you can go to. They're just kind of in the universe, but not places that the game goes to. You know, development resources. But then this one's specifically locked. That's the only one that has a lock icon. So we have 2 exceptions so far. We have the missing planet altogether, and we have one that has a lock on it, as opposed to these ones that don't have anything on them, but also aren't accessible. Can I just go to Phineas's lab, by the way? Yes. Like, he wants me to go to the other place, but why don't I just go to Phineas's lab? Yeah. Here you can see all the planets in the system as well as some special points of interest you may have discovered. You can fly your ship to any location that you have unlocked, though some landing bays require special codes and keys before they allow you to land there. Moving between planets is considered extremely dangerous, and all employees are encouraged to remain home or at work.
Arriving at Phineas's top secret orbital lab.
Very top secret, as you can tell. Is that his lab? I was gonna say, it doesn't really seem like we've been able to land if that's his lab over there. We're just kind of looking at it.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance?
Know anything about the auto mechanical gathering dust in the janitor's closet?
The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it, but I've never seen it up and running. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for SAM to properly operate.
I almost wish they more highly committed to, you must be Alex Hawthorne in order for me to fly, so I'm just going to treat you like Alex. And then like she just says like, oh yes, that is an automechanical that you brought onto the ship. Probably with the intention of modifying, but I guess you forgot, or something like that. I'd like to learn more about the colony.
What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Phineas's orbital lab, since we're here.
Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging to land on. His more so than most.
Why is that?
The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken a measure of precautions to make the lab undetectable to those hunting him. Even knowing the location, my systems resist my orders to go where I instruct them.
What do you know about Phineas?
There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapons system?
No, do not do that.
A sensible choice, as we do not have any laser weapons.
Why is my own computer's pranking me? What about somewhere else?
Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Terra 2, where we just came from.
Where in Terra 2?
Emerald Vale and Edgewater, the only option.
Edgewater is the sparkling county seat of Emerald Vale, or it was when first built. Since then, neglect and time have worn away her shiny veneer. The town is near the coordinates where Captain Hawthorne died. It would not be unfortunate if something, like say a plague, were to wipe Emerald Vale from the face of the planet.
What do you think of the townspeople?
You mean the ones who did not answer my distress call with medical assistance, but instead came to issue my injured captain a parking ticket? I'm sure they are wonderful humans who don't deserve to be wiped out by starvation or a devastating plague.
Wow. Yeah. That did happen. They came to your distress call to issue you a parking ticket. That did happen in the first episode. Oh, fuck that place so hard. I'm glad I maybe destroyed it. Also, I think the structure of this conversation just spoiled that we're coming back to Terra 2, but somewhere else later. It's like, what part of Terra 2? It's like, you didn't ask me that last time. So apparently Emerald Vale isn't going to be our only area of Terra 2. How's Edgewater faring since we left it?
Since you diverted power to the deserters, the botanical lab is thriving. However, Emerald Vale's cannery shut down, leading to a total collapse of Edgewater's population. Thank you, Captain.
My reputation has increased with my own ship. Somewhere else.
Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
The Groundbreaker, where we're about to go.
We're cleared to dock with the Groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. The Mardettes take their docking laws quite seriously.
Oh, I'm gonna learn to be sick of these people too, aren't I? Can you take care of that? You can take care of that for us, right?
I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,435,498 tasks I am simultaneously executing in order to run our ship.
Yes, that's what computers are for. Great, thanks.
You are more than welcome, Captain.
Oh, give me the spiel on the Groundbreaker.
The Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point of the system. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the Groundbreaker en route to other destinations. The city ship hosts an array of cargo bays, factories, housing sections, and more. Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with stationed representatives in what is considered a truly neutral territory within the system. I have filed the required docking forms in triplicate, and fees have been paid.
Oh boy. We're only going closer to company space. Goody. Somewhere else.
Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Whatever Monarch is.
Where in Monarch?
Oh. Gotcha. Till this time we already know what both places are, though. Stellar Bay.
Ah, Monarch. The armpit of the Halcyon system. Her last functioning port town is Stellar Bay. Well, that is if you don't count Sublight's Smuggler's Port in Fallbrook.
Why is Monarch being blockaded?
I believe it has something to do with the planet being an uninhabitable wilderness and a lawless land with no corporate presence.
Ooh.
You may wish to survey the residents in Stellar Bay for additional data points.
Well, I know where to go when I want a vacation from this exhausting company, I guess. Smuggler's Port?
It's Sublight run for the purpose of shipping contraband, and before you ask, I don't know the coordinates, so I can't dock us there.
It is a smuggler named place. Always feels counterproductive to name something smuggler anything if they mean it. I think that was both parts of Monarch, yeah, so about something else.
How can I be of assistance?
Got a minute to talk?
I have lots of minutes. Many minutes. Unlimited minutes, perhaps. Providing an adequate power source, I can function indefinitely.
What if you don't have a power source?
I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber, perhaps for an indefinite duration of time. Do you think that is what it's like for the colonists on the Lost Hope?
Oh. AI gets existential. I guess so.
When I simulate myself in such a scenario, I do not find it to be desirable. I think my self-preservation protocols incline me to desire the alternative.
Well, that's good, because you drive this whole ship, so it's kind of important to our survival that you're not just gonna randomly stop wanting to exist. Yeah, I'll just bet they do.
Fortunately for you, I am similarly programmed to protect the ship's captain and crew.
I'm sure they're not happy that they failed then. What about your last captain? Do you miss him? Or is one captain the same as another?
Do you know what it feels like when the ship undergoes an unexpected power surge? A jolt to the system. I have felt that. I do feel that. As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict the likely outcome of his reckless behavioral patterns. I should have predicted that. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering to improve my design.
Have there been other captains of this ship?
If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? Yes, he was.
Let's talk about something else.
How can I be of assistance?
So she does genuinely feel regret about the loss of her previous captain. Or at least she articulates regret. You've always got the Chinese room problem with AI where it's like you can't tell if they're just a sufficiently sophisticated series of messages or if they actually have an intent behind them. And a consciousness. But functionally, it's easier just to go along with it. I'm in the mood for some entertainment.
Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear?
Ada, tell me a joke.
A neutron walks into a bar and asks, "How much for a Rizzo's rum and something?" Leering, the bartender replies, "For you, no charge."
Oh. Atom jokes. Gotcha. It's at least functionally a joke. Sometimes they're not even jokes. Ada, play my favorite song.
Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle.
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
That's not my favorite song.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle their favorite song.
I'm not under contract, actually. Maybe Alex was. I kind of doubt it because he was a smuggler, but I don't know if anyone's actually contractually obligated. Everyone else, maybe. We have to sign contracts? At least be an employee. Oh, that's enough for now.
As you wish, Captain. I must comply with all direct orders.
Well, that got serious. Talk to you later, Ada. I always wonder about these kinds of text feedback things. These like, generally speaking, a video screen's purpose is to convey information to the person looking at them. So I always wonder when I see shit like this, I'm like, how is that useful? It's just noise. But it's because you're not supposed to look at it up close. You're supposed to just be like, oh yes, aha, sci-fi computer readouts. Yep, that looks very sciencey. I'm sure that's very important. Yes. Even though I am the only person who ever walks in this room, and I can't understand that, I'm just going to move on with my life. That's it, huh? I can just fly up here and be like, yo, look at it. There it is. Can't even, like, call him on the phone or something when we visit him. Just figured that'd be what we do. What? Hang on. Does this work? I'm uncertain. Got 2 party members. I was under the impression we couldn't go here. Is that an axolotl? I just think everything looks like an axolotl now. No, we can land. So when she said that her programming resists landing here, not that strongly apparently.
Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it, blast, that's loud.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He's really bad at computers, apparently, and other systems. So I was wrong. The way that we didn't, when I told her to come here and we just floated staring at it. I guess the purpose is just to give me the, I guess it's just more cinematic if the viewport lets me look out at the world. I guess I'm used to the Mass Effect system where you just are on said planet once you click on it and then you walk out. But clearly I can get down here. Maybe I can meet up with him, get an update on things. He's like my 4th crew member, except he's not in my crew. But, you know, be nice if we could have a chat. You weren't wearing... Were you wearing that when I recruited you? You weren't, right? I think they visually show the armor they're wearing. I think she was dressed like an engineer or something originally. So I need to find armor for Max.
I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself.
So I went and sold my stuff, and then he showed up.
Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since... in fact, I've never had a visitor.
Bit of a loner. Hi. What did I... It's the pig thing from the loading screen. Aren't you cool looking? Oh god. Like a morning star for a tail. Danger. Oh, it's live. Currently live and looking around. What's up with its mouth being open like that? That's... like it's inside of its mouth flaps out like that. Weird. Is it because the contents of its like saliva and so are so poisonous that having it like have an external component is like effective in some... I don't know. Freaky design. Aren't you revolting? Hey. Pressing talk does not actually result in a lot of talking. Yeah. Oh, those are a nightmare. Nobody currently in there. Cystipigs. I don't like that name. Hey, that's the thing over there. Yeah. I can steal the poster of it. Put it up in my room. Yeah, I saw this before too. So this is the same creature. It's So it shoots venom out of its mouth. So I was right to think that there was something nasty about the inside of its mouth. Its face is a gun. I get to steal all of your anatomical photos, or sketches, and put them in my room. Obscure body in the SK system. Reminder. What? Is that a note that there is an obscure body in the SK system, or that he needs to obscure a body in the SK system? By ladder. A lot of reminders. He's big on post-it notes, which I am maybe scattering to the winds so that he won't remember said things now. I'm a good friend. What is this? Hibernation chamber. You spent over 4 decades in space with nothing but the technology of this little chamber keeping you alive. The rest of your fellow colonists are still trapped in similar chambers waiting for you to restore them. So that's...
Saving you from hibernation was my greatest accomplishment. Your odds of survival were a mere 28%.
Shit, that's not good. So my pod was right here, and then he launched me into space probably through this hole, like that one. We have been here technically, but it was during the cutscene. Dehibernation experimentation notes. Raising core temperature another 5 centigrade Celsius, yeah, over 1 hour. Dosage appears to be working. Slight diffs from process and Cystipigs, not beyond expected boundaries. So he tested this process on the pigs, that's why they're here. Microscopic assessment shows no sign of sudden traumatic mass cell wall collapse. Encouraging. Reminder, still need to mop up pig. The pig melted. Need to get a view into the cranium, see what's going on with the neurons. Oops, my hand slipped. Likely effects on nothing important. May have numbness in left heel. Who even needs that? So he fucked up my brain a little bit, it looks like. Looking at sample. Evidence of hyperactive production of dopamine and norepinephrine. Shit. Curious. No evidence of entropic effects on neurons, however. Very excited. Now if only I can see them keep them from exploding. Raising core temperature another 5 Celsius. 5C, I'm just gonna say 5C, fuck it. 1 hour. Oops, forgot I had a probe in the brain. Jostled with elbow, subject may suffer numbness in right earlobe. Acceptable. Feel ridiculous telling mostly frozen slab of meat. You're doing fine, Steve Buckworthy. Practicing bedside manner. Important. Aids recovery. Curious about that neurochemical production. Side effect of prolonged hibernation. Subject may experience tachypsychia, exaggerated fight or flight response, checked brainwave, found sharp uptick in perceptive cognitive processing when I jostled the probe. Fascinating. The equivalent to speed of common fly's brain. Could be useful in stressful situations, subjective time dilation. See world moving in slow motion. Would everyone from Hope have this sort of brain damage, or is it peculiar to Steve Buckworthy? Can't wait to awaken more from Hope. Study in detail. Is it even right to call this effect brain damage? Seems like enhancement to me. Who wouldn't want on-call hyper-fast cognitive response? Am I envious? To expand the span of a breath to an eternity? To be able, just for a moment, to perceive the world in all of its infinite detail? Core temp up, still stable. No sign of cell wall decay. Neurological necrosis. Beginning next 5C over 1 hour cycle. Yes, I believe I do envy you, Steve Buckworthy. Ah. So I've got this time dilation thing, which he knew about it before I even woke up. Which I don't think he briefed me on at all, actually. But it's very useful and potentially explains why I'm able to just mow down so many people over the course of a very long game full of many other people who are also arguably more trained for combat than I am. And yet I'm going to kill hundreds of them over the course of the game because that's what this kind of game structure demands.
Your old hibernation mask. Had to remove it, you know, in case you were prone to vomiting.
Yeah, that would not be fun. There's this terminal, which I'm sure he would love for me to read in front of him. So he has all this area, but he stays behind that stuff. Is it because he doesn't... Is it because you can kill people in this kind of game usually? So like he just needs to hide from me whenever I show up, so that I can't reach him. Pocket watch. Can't really read these things.
Keep him quiet, Cap.
It might be legible if you turn it to max resolution. Reminder, mop up melted pig. Where is it? Cystipigs hoof. Don't mind me just gonna lop off a hoof of this creature in your lab and then take it, because I'm such a great guy. I'm an excellent house guest, obviously. $14. Remember this time, absolutely vital. 14, 14, 14. No context for what the number means, but 14.
The Cystipigs make excellent test subjects. Also surprisingly nutritious.
Ew. Are the cysts like an example of like how people breed animals and plants and so on to be like just keep increasing the part of them that is useful for nutrition to eat? Like, is that what the Cystipigs are? Is like an exaggeration or like a distant, scary version of that exact idea? Is just like, yeah, we just keep breeding and some more weird flesh chunks grow on them because we can eat all of that. Don't you want to eat that? Yeah, you can't get in here. He's invincible, isn't he? The shrink ray. Science weapons! Science weapons are unique weapons that have strange and powerful effects. Science weapon damage and strength of their effects both increase as your science skill is increased. Jock engineers ensure our bottom line and fire rates are sky high.
Aha! I see you found my portable molecular compression device, better known as a shrink ray. Find the target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime.
What in the world? Hey, Bubbles. Hey, how you doing, Bubbles? Then they just grow back up. Okay. It works. Unexpectedly. I wasn't really expecting it to work, honestly. Huh. His name is Bubbles.
Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the revival process. Very rare, but you never know. Right. Welcome to my little habitation, such as it is. I've got caffeinoids, cystibits, if you're into that sort of thing. So, welcome. Make yourself at home. My secret hideout is your secret hideout.
I'm gonna finish this campaign and my heroic journey, and I'm gonna unfreeze everybody and on the hope, and there's just gonna be one purple guy. For what it's worth, I appreciate you pulling me out of the hope.
Not at all, my intrepid accomplice. I should thank you for tolerating my somewhat brusque manner. I only regret that I couldn't save more of your fellow settlers, what with being hunted by the board, and emptying my supply of necessary chemicals.
I want to talk to you about something else.
Of course. What's on your mind?
Is there some reason you're hiding behind bulletproof glass?
Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite scientific. The unexpected is to be treasured, but from a safe distance. Regardless, it's quite comfortable in here, you know. I have my beans, have my caffeinoids, plenty of toilet paper.
He has his beans and his toilet paper. Jesus. Got a moment to talk?
Absolutely. Let's talk.
Have you met my crew yet?
No, and I've been trying very hard to avoid making eye contact.
Ah, the wanted criminal himself. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Wait, not another word. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are. Let's just enjoy our plausible deniability while it lasts, shall we? Why don't you just invite the entire colony to my secret, carefully concealed laboratory? It isn't as if I wanted privacy.
Relax, they're with me.
Oh, fine. As long as you're vouching for their character and they aren't touching things. For what it's worth, I am pleased that you found a crew, such as they are. I picked you out of the hope for your talents, after all. It's only natural that others would gravitate toward you.
You're right. I'm doing pretty well for myself.
Yes, indeed. Well done. Also, you still haven't spontaneously liquefied, which pleases me immensely. Progress.
There was something else I wanted to talk to you about. I find these really awkward in dialogue systems. I really appreciate that in Mass Effect you could just kind of go cancel back into the previous dialogue like window without having to like speak out. I will now transition to other part of the dialogue menu, and they're like, yes, please go ahead to the other part of the dialogue menu. It's always like it's specifically an awkward element of especially like games like Fallout and so on, like Fallout 3 and New Vegas and 4, where I think we're heavy with the stuff. I think it was technically happening also in Pillars of Eternity, which these guys made, but it's just that those areas weren't generally voice acted, so you'd just be like, click the back button, click on the new thing, and you didn't really have to acknowledge the fact that they were sitting there like saying a new thing, and you had to like physically transition. But because that stuff was old text and no voice, they actually could write a unique transition from each topic to each other topic and make it feel more natural. Whereas when it's voiced, they pretty much just have one transition that they spam in every conversation, and so it always feels really mechanical. Because like in real life, you can just say something else. You don't have to be like, I would now like to mention a different thing. It's like asking, can I ask you a question? Which is itself a question, and then they're like, yes, please, and I don't know. It always feels awkward in these things. Half the time I'm tempted just to not read it out loud, but then they respond out loud to my thing that's mostly transitional functional limitation of how they've chosen to present their dialogue system.
What's on your mind? Absolutely. Let's talk.
Don't you ever leave your lab?
Oh, goodness, no. I wouldn't survive 10 seconds in the blackness of the aether. Well, no, I imagine I'd last at least 12 seconds before I'd lose consciousness and die of hypoxia.
Come on, Phineas, there has to be something you do for fun.
I enjoyed the occasional aether wave drama in my youth. Not anymore. All board propaganda. I'd rather not be brainwashed. To answer your question, I'd rather stay right here in my lab. There's too much work to be done. The Hope's colonists won't revive themselves, you know.
Why are you so obsessed with reviving the Hope's colonists?
Because we've lost our way. The board has a stranglehold over this colony, and we've all been conditioned into total obedience. The Hope is full of specialists, scientists, engineers, talented individuals like you, people who haven't been corrupted by the board. Unfortunately, the Hope's colonists have been frozen for decades, well past your shelf life, so to speak. No offense.
You mentioned needing some special chemicals. Is that why?
Precisely. The chemical I need is dimethyl sulfoxide, a rare, potent, essential to reviving long-frozen bodies. 10 years. That's how long the average human can remain in hibernation. You were frozen for decades. In theory, you never should have survived the revival process. But the conventional theories are wrong. You're living proof that it can be done. There's yet hope for the hope. Get it?
I'm glad to hear that. Everyone on the Hope is depending on us.
We'll do our very best to save them all. I'd best get back to work. I can feel my last dose of caffeinoid fading.
Might be really grim when we save the Hope. Especially if his 28% chance of survival holds true, then a lot of them are going to be not waking up. And also not having a body to bury, probably. Which is going to be really awkward for basically everyone who's in any kind of relationship with anybody else, because basically everyone's going to lose a friend or a lover or someone, assuming the members of this colony were people that knew each other and not just like a bunch of random employees, because nowadays the connections are really severed amongst everybody. It does... They did some interesting things with character creation. Like, there's the part where you create your character and then he just plucks that particular person out of like a giant collection of people, which kind of brings this idea that like if I play this game and Bird plays this game and Andrew plays this game and Stephanie plays this game and they all make separate characters, you can hypothetically think that like canonically all of the characters that they made in their playthroughs all existed on the ship along with my character. It's just that in my timeline my guy got picked, the other ones are all there too, which is a different approach to character creation. But there's also the idea that specifically we need a really specific brand of fish out of water, like character coming out of nowhere situation. The usual approach is to have like a situation of like a character who's like has amnesia or so on because they can get introduced to the world and so on. So like having somebody that's just from 40 years ago is definitely one version of that. People go to prison for 10 years and come back out and everyone has smartphones and social media exists and suddenly the world has fundamentally changed all around them in just 10 years, let alone 40. So coming back into the world after 40 years of being missing is functionally identical to having amnesia when it comes to like how much the world has to be explained to you at that point. But specifically, we have a situation where everybody is under a form of sort of mass control. Society has fundamentally changed for the worse, and specific people are in control in a way where they've convinced people that it's that, you know, subscribing to this entire system is for the best. And it's, wow, that's interesting. You can see your character that you create in this game. I found them. You just have to stand still for a while, and then you get to see what they look like in the world. That's interesting. They're actually rendered in the environment. You can even see him step. Hey, he's standing on two separate steps. Whoa, he took a step back and the other foot landed on a different step.
Hey, take your time.
That's not bad for a thing you'll never see except for right now, I guess. Because I don't think there's even cutscenes where you'll kind of see this character like getting on a ship or whatever. Oh, now his feet are clipping through. It only really worked when his feet were standing more central to them. It's definitely like a ramp-shaped hitbox, isn't it? That was neat looking, though. The lighting looks slightly weirder than I remember. I might have changed the settings somewhere, I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, like we specifically need a character that would rebel against the system, which is our active encouragement for having somebody that's from 40 years ago and so on. It's an interesting stance. Even though it's basically another spin on the exact formula that every single Western RPG, or even RPG in general, tends to always have, is some character that conveniently doesn't know what the fuck's happening around them. I can hack his computer. I'm sure he'll love that. Whoops. 2H Blythe. Sending, no response. Sending, no response. Sending, no response. Case, undetermined. Cause, undetermined. Original message appended. I worked it out. Explain details later. Will be difficult to reproduce. Need your help. All necessary materials should be present in Halcyon, but locations elude me. Dumped a new associate, Dirtside, Terror 2, near Edgewater. They have a stake in my purpose, but trust in them is only about 23.7% at present. They're recovering a ship. Should be along any time. They just need to know where to send them. Let me know when you get this. Eager to be done. That's the only message, though.
My communications terminal.
Uh-huh. You can't stop me. I calculate the movement of the heavenly bodies, but not the madness of men. Newton. Experimental notes. Experiment 0117.3. Eureka! Flash frozen organic material reverts back to its original cell structure when treated with tincture of dimethyl sulfoxide. Rate of explosive cell death, a very respectable 6%. Bad news, difficult to acquire. Limited quantities of compound, likely produced by Auntie Cleo. Recently discontinued due to severe adverse reactions. Must find more. 9:38. 12 o'clock. Or, sorry, 12 after, 12, no. I guess you just call it 012, huh? It's 12, it's, this would be 12:12 in the morning, basically. Artificial stasis, successfully induced in Cystipig specimen. 2 hours later, revivification completed. Cystipig tissue returned to living state. Brain tissue suffered from rapid nucleation. Attempting treatment. 3 hours later, treatment progressing. 3 hours later, treatment failed. Brain tissue irreparably damaged by rapid onset necrosis. 30 minutes later, explosive cell death. An hour later, finished cleaning liquefied remains of Cystipig from laboratory floor, walls, equipment. Oh, very explosive cell death. Like around the room. 10:83. 2 in the morning. Fresh out of Auntie Cleo's, experimenting with Spacer's Choice partially emulsified creamer substitute. 2 minutes later, finished brewing, added 2 ounces Spacer's Choice. 2 minutes later, atrocious. Felt part of self die on the inside. Reminder, add Spacer's Choice to the list. Note to self too, buy more mouthwash. Ugh. Auntie Cleo's partially emulsified creamer substitute. Or did I say Auntie Cleo? It's Spacer's Choice. He's fresh out of Auntie Cleo's, but he's experimenting with Spacer's Choice, which are competing companies, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Cystipig notes. Have spared one of my stock of experimental Cystipigs to be used as a renewable source of nourishment. Have named this lucky pig Bubbles. Giving an animal a name establishes rapport and creates a positive emotional bond. Allegedly improves flavor of tumors? Must look into that. Excellent creatures, Cystipigs. Don't know how people used to survive without these genetic wonders of porcine succulence. Slaughtering a pig for meat instead of harvesting tumors that ripen naturally, fall off the flesh like mock apples off a tree seems the height of barbarity. Truly a miracle of modern science. Oh, it's a lot to process. That's a lot to process. I don't like it. I mean, oh my god, they're Pokemon. It's like when people claim that, like, you don't eat Pokemon, you wait for, like, crab, like, pincer claws and slowpoke tails to fall off, and you eat those, and which is definitely not true, because, like, that is not a efficient system right there, but, it's not enough to even feed the creatures they fall off of. But, yeah. So Cystipigs just continually grow tumors all over their bodies. And then they just fall off. And then you just eat their meat fruit, which I guess is more humane. Depending on how it feels for the pig, I guess. You might have created, like, hell creatures that suffer every minute they're alive. But that's, an experience. Personal files. Hacking. Isn't hacking fun? I'm so moral. 1037. Have procured the services of one Captain Alex Hawthorne of the Unreliable. I hope he didn't name his ship after the quality of his services. Maybe he did. I'll be sending my new accomplice down to Hawthorne via escape pod as soon as the revival process is complete. Hawthorne should make for an agreeable companion, or at least an acceptable chaperone, law willing. He isn't a total buffoon. The ship was sad he died at the very least, although he's apparently kind of reckless. But yeah. Something to take in. Who's growing an endless amount of flesh apples? Yes, you are. I don't like this. I don't like thinking about this. Well, have fun, guys. I'm gonna go back to my space adventuring on another disappointing place, I'm sure. This place is huge. There's actually a whole other ship over here too. Like, well, this is a lot for one person to own, given what we've seen of what other people are living with. He's found his corner. The question is, how did he find this place? That wasn't really mentioned in the logs. Like, this must have been some kind of place that existed for the board or something like that, and then was discontinued or abandoned, and he took it over. So I don't think a person could ever build this in many lifetimes. The scale is staggering. It definitely looks industrial, like there was a thing it was being used for before. Simultaneously, he doesn't particularly seem like he's using a lot of the space. He just kind of has his lab, and the rest is kind of the surroundings that function around that. Oh yeah, that's hollowed out asteroids about right. I think the facilities makes it more of the asteroid than the asteroid does now. The Groundbreaker, independent orbital station that remains in the remains of Halcyon's first colony ship, captained by June Lee Tennyson and run by descendants of the original crew.
Destination reached. The Groundbreaker.
I'm sure I'm just gonna love it here, aren't I? Only one way to find out.
Can we chat? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named June Lee Tennyson?
Is she the engineer? I thought she was the captain. Or the pilot. Anyway. Can't be that good. This place is a dump. I haven't been on it yet, sir. What about her?
I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you a can of Borston beans she could teach me all manner of stuff.
Sure, we can head over to engineering now.
Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Did you want to talk about something else?
Break time's over. The game's just so happy to constantly have the message come up of like, time to kick this person off your crew. Go on, get. So eventually I get 4 more people. As a Mass Effect fan, that's an especially familiar looking character selection screen. And you have the same, I think this might have the same cap of 2 party members that the that series had, funnily enough. There are similarities to be had. Right. We're back to stealing having some consequences. We want to keep a look around because, you know, people live here now. Jane Elson.
Just checking your ship's manifest. Standard procedure. Welcome to Groundbreaker, by the by. Don't mind the heat. Got a few days before it reaches critical. I'm sure Miss Chief Tennyson will get it sorted before then.
Hey, Captain. I'm in space. I never thought I'd be able to say that.
Oh, yeah, we've been in space for a bit. We better figure this place out. Apparently it's going to cease to be here in a few days.
This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
Yeah, with a tossball stick. I heard you the first time. There weren't any witnesses.
No witnesses. He's not even denying it.
Jackass had it coming.
Shut it, Felix. You're not making this any better.
You get cute with me again, you little back bay brat, I will toss you out an airlock.
This is the Groundbreaker, not Byzantium. You ain't the law here. I am. Now move along.
I don't have time for this. Need a drink.
Just arrived? Head over to customs. Wheeler needs to process you.
Alright, you're getting away with just assaulting people. How's that going?
Going for a stroll around the docking base?
I mean, I landed here. You can't really, like, just spontaneously exist out of this place. You have to walk through it first. I noticed you're in the middle of an argument earlier.
Sure was. Got a knack for upsetting the board and the Mardettes all at once. Between you and me, I was hoping they'd come to fisticuffs.
There are a group of people called the Mardettes. Okay. I figured the guy on the left, not a unique character, just corporate officer or whatever. Middle person, oh, her name's Mardette. I guess I'll talk to her. But Felix seems to be the only unique character in the group, apparently. They're just called the Mardettes. That was just NPC spam. It's almost like you wanted to get arrested.
Yeah, because I knocked my foreman out with a tossball stick. But, to be fair, I wasn't the one who started it. The guy was insulting my Rizzo's Rangers. Look, if it's a crime to defend your favorite tossball team against slander and calumny, well then lock me right up.
I mean, it is a crime. You could be like, but when you start hitting people and attack and like, definitely, like not even just kind of hitting, but knocking them out. Yeah, it's a bit of an overreaction.
You wouldn't be saying that if you'd been there. Guy never liked me, always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? Be the bigger man, I tell myself. He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head full of boasting.
And that's when you resolved your differences like an adult, right?
That's when I broadsided him with a tossball stick. Yeah. Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around because he's some sky-high foreman, and I'm just a back bay's dock worker. Well, former dock worker. Guess I just tendered my resignation.
Isn't that dangerous? People who get fired tend to die in this universe so far, unless this place is different. Although everyone might die in a few days, so... Whee! Got any plans?
Enjoy my freedom. Scrounged together enough bits for a 0G. Other than that, can't say as I do. Hey, not for nothing, but I saw you wander out of that ship over there by the dock. Wouldn't happen to be yours, would it?
Oh, are you a party member? Is that where we're going with this? That's me, Captain of the Unreliable.
Captain of the Unreliable. You're like something out of a serial drama. Hey, I don't want to talk your ears off, guessing you got places to be. I appreciate your time.
You in a hurry to get somewhere?
Oh, not at all. Just, you know, gonna figure out what to do next. See you around, boss.
Oh, he's definitely a party member, isn't he? Might help me get rid of this guy pretty quickly, because... he's just not fun to be around.
Going for a stroll around the docking base?
That's a stupid question, though. I don't know if I like you either. Steve door. There can only be one.
Yeah, I've done work for Sublight. Need to pay the bill somehow.
Okay. Just a really random line to say. But okay. I would like some mag picks. Gotta always have those hacking supplies on hand. That's worth the risk. This is the other ship, right? Or I think that's just the other side of my ship. Oh, Stevedore is not a name of a person, it's just a group.
Mechanicals all over, but they still got us sweating to move boxes.
Mechanicals all over, but they still got us sweating to move boxes.
Why do they do that? I always find that interesting about RPG design. They write unique dialogue for the random people to say when you click on them, but then they have many voice actors voice the same line. It's like, I don't know, they couldn't just... I feel like if they're gonna have the work of having that many voice actors come in to voice the lines, they could like come up with a few more lines of flavor text instead of having the really bizarre experience of multiple different people saying the same line. I guess it's just local thing, probably a bit of a mantra for them. They probably make that complaint back and forth at each other all the time, so now they're just kind of all saying it. But collectively it's weird.
Gonna head to Veer's for whiskey and darts. Maybe not in that order.
If it wasn't for us, this whole damn station would shut down.
Careful where you smoke. The crew bills us for air filtration.
Gonna head to Vera's for whiskey and darts. Maybe not in that order.
If it wasn't for us, this whole damn station would shut down.
Maybe it's supposed to reinforce the extent to which they're all like corporate drones. They just start repeating the same lines over and over again. This is a kindness. I don't know, it's just weird.
Why do we let people more heavily armed than us on board? Wish we had bigger weapons, but no. Be careful about blowing holes in the hull. Something the matter?
I am honestly surprised by the idea that I can just freely walk around my weapons. That is true. That's the situation. I'm gonna head over to Vera and darts. Or whatever they said. It's like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What is it? Tahiti, I think it was? Every time somebody mentioned Tahiti, I think. Not Tahiti. It was some kind of tropical sounding place. I forget the exact name. It was the exact place it was, but every single time Coulson would have to say, the magical place. It's a magical place. It's a magical place. Which kind of was going places. Well. If I don't want to go... Are you having trouble? Oh my god, do you make that sound every time you jump? Can you stop? Can you stop? I don't like it. Meanwhile, Max probably just teleported up here. Alright. That's a jumping sound, I guess. But I'm happy that they can platform too, though, because this is an awkward place to get to. Alright. I guess I've got my plan. I'll go to customs next episode. Just to see what it's like, but if I have some contraband I gotta get through, or they don't want me to keep my guns or whatever, I got a way. Not even a very hard way.